Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm a vegan life and wellness coach, and today I'm joined by Wayne. And Wayne's going to tell us a little bit about him, why he went vegan, and more. Thanks for joining us today, Wayne.
Thanks for having me, Morgan.
So, why don't we just start with tell us a little bit about you and what it is you do?
Well, I've been vegan for 3.5 years. It'll be 4 years in December. Right now, because of COVID and coronavirus, I'm a stay-at-home dad. I have that luxury right now. So I've been staying at home with my two kids. When I go back to work, sounds like Monday, I'll be a marine engineer when I go back.
Wow, that's pretty soon. How are you feeling about going back?
Uh, I was only told yesterday, so uh, it'll be good. It'll be good. It's been the kids will be happy to not have their grumpy old dad around, so they're pretty excited.
Oh, that's good though. I guess it's time to get back into life, right?
Yeah, it's definitely time.
Yeah, yeah. So, what was your life like before you went vegan?
My life before veganism was pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Uh, More or less, more cruelty back then and all that stuff. But I lived at the gym quite a bit, and I took a break from that. But uh, life's been a lot cleaner and a little more focused for sure.
Yeah. So how would you say that your life has changed?
Uh, Now that I'm vegan, I have kind of like a club that I belong to, I guess you want to call it. So I like exploring what other people do on Twitter. That's where I hang out a lot. And that's, my main focus is, promoting a vegan lifestyle. So that takes up a little bit of my time.
Yeah, yeah, and connecting with others is really
Connecting
great
with,
on Twitter.
yeah, it definitely is. That's where I spend probably a lot of my time. Yeah.
So was there like a moment or was there a big thing that kind of pushed you to veganism?
Uh, well, I've always been environmentally conscious. So when I used to go to the gym, back, we're talking like 8 years ago, I used to go to the gym quite a bit and I'd see the same guys in the change room all the time. And it really irked me when they would leave the water running when they're brushing their teeth or shaving. So I made up all these little posters, and when I used to leave the gym, because I'd be pretty much the last one there, because I'd be working the back shift, everybody'd be going to the gym, getting ready, and I'd be just showing up. So when I'd be leaving, I'd put up all these posters everywhere to, kind of let people know that you shouldn't be wasting all this water. I don't know if it actually led anywhere, but it led me to vegetarianism. Uh, Reducing my water consumption, finding out ways how to live a better, carbon-free kind of life. That's where
Wow.
that's where it started. That's where I can date it back to.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting origin story, right?
Yeah,
Water conservation.
yeah,
Um, but that's great, right? I think so many people tend to, like, when they think of like veganism, they think of like diet and health focus, and not so many kind of take that plunge for the environment.
yeah, yeah. That's what got me started on the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. They say about 4 gallons a day a person uses just letting the water run while they're brushing their teeth. That's like 11,000 liters a year. That's a lot of water just to be flushing down the toilet or the drain, I guess. You probably shouldn't be brush your teeth over the toilet, right? But
Yeah, I
yeah,
hope not. Don't do that.
no, no.
So how were your friends and family when you decided to go vegan? Were they shocked? Were they on board?
Well, when I became a vegetarian for the first time, it 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 shocked a couple people. Most people told me that I wasn't going to be able to do it because I ate a lot of meat. I used to go to the gym, and just like most gym people, when they go to the gym, they think, whey protein shakes all day, 3 steaks, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't I didn't need it. So I I went vegetarian, and after I did it, like halfway through, like 6 months into it, people were kind of like, oh yeah, well maybe he'll stick to it, kind of thing. And till this day, my mom, still, you're gonna have fish when you come over? That fish question comes up all the time.
Yeah, I had had that question for a while. I feel like the first couple of years it was like, what about shrimp? What about
Yeah,
one egg?
yeah.
No, it's not how it
What's the
works.
difference? One egg or 12 eggs, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Do you have a cat on your lap?
I do. Her name's London. She just crawled up on my lap when I was outside. I seen her running down the hill.
All right. I saw a little tail. I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know if that's wildlife or or a pet.
not my tail. Uh, little kitty.
So so it was like more of a natural thing after you did vegetarianism. They weren't so surprised when you shifted to full veganism.
Well, when I did it for a year, I was vegetarian for a year. That came about from being really frugal with my money out of necessity. I only had $25 a week to buy groceries, live off of, food and fun.
Hmm.
Uh, so $25 doesn't get you very far. So I started eating like really thin cuts of meat, and then I just that was getting too expensive, so I cut that out. And then after I did that for a year, I went back to eating meat because it was just like a year thing, like a trial for me, see how much water I could save, see how much. Because back then it wasn't even really for the animals; it was more about the environment for me. Uh, and then after I did that for a year, took me a couple years to get back into vegetarian, and really didn't go back to vegetarian and went straight into veganism.
Okay.
So so they were still a little shocked after I took the break and then came back to it. I had a lot of questions to answer.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm wondering, was one of those questions where you're going to get your protein?
Nope, that never came up. No,
No.
I'm just
Wow.
no, I'm just kidding. 100 times, thousands of times, it still comes up.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I get my protein just like anybody else would that is eating vegetables. There's protein in everything. There's proteins in bread, nuts. I get them from legumes, chickpeas, beans, um, all that good stuff. Just 2 slices of bread with 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 17 grams of protein. It's like an easy go-to snack. You can take it in the car.
Yeah.
It takes no effort to get protein, and I don't know why people don't know, because they've never researched it or looked into it, and they don't believe me a lot of the time.
Yeah. I think they just kind of repeat what they hear. It's kind of like the story that we're told, and they don't dig much further.
Mm.
So you mentioned that you had gone to vegetarianism because of cost and trying to save money. So has been has eating vegan been expensive?
It's the cheapest way you can eat. Buy like one of my favorite meals that I don't know why people eat it all around the world, but it's never occurred to me to eat it. It's just rice and lentils. Uh, Throw some soy sauce in them, some poultry spice, as they call it. I really don't know what's in poultry spice, but that's what's on the label. Uh, Throw that in there, and a side of veggies. And I've never done the math, but you know, 3 cups of rice and 4 cups of lentils can't cost that much. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and there's tons of protein, good carbs, healthy carbs to keep you going, fiber, and lots of other vitamins. So once I started getting into it, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think people get so overwhelmed with the idea of like Beyond Burgers or whatever. That's what they think of. But at least here, right, like a pack of chicken breast is $10 and you can get a can of beans for $1. So it's like, what's really more expensive?
Mm. Yeah, a family of 4 can have all can of beans themselves for $4. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So what do you think the biggest misconception is about veganism?
I think a lot of it has to do with people are scared they're going to wither away if they eat just grass and dandelion clippings all day. Uh, that's definitely not the truth. Uh, I've the vegans that I know, I only know a couple in real life that they they're still a little overweight. They're not skinny and they have muscles, and they run, bike, cycle, all that stuff that every you know normal people do. I like
Yeah,
using the bunny ears.
go for it. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yes, I think that that's so normal, right? People think of like vegans as being like scrawny little hippies and who don't shave and
yeah,
peace signs, that whole vibe. But there's like such a variety of body types and people that are vegan, right? I know a lot of vegans, some in real life and more online, but I mean they're not thin, right? They're muscular, or maybe they're carrying a few extra pounds, but that's okay, right? You get that
yeah,
in any type of diet or any type of community.
yeah. It's not uncommon to be overweight just eating KFC or whatever. People, you can still eat junk food and still be a vegan. Like there's
Yeah.
that too, right? That's not the route you should take for anybody really, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean, you can take it, right? If you hate yourself, but you love the animals,
Yeah,
it's a
exactly
route to
right.
take. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what has been the hardest thing about going vegan for you?
The hardest thing would be, I would say, eating out and eating with family, because
Hmm.
often there's two meals or a separate meal involved. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like going out to a restaurant is tricky. We've recently found a really good restaurant in the Halifax area that's called the Wooden Monkey. I don't know if that's a franchise that's in and around, but they don't specialize in vegan food, but they definitely have it's like 70% vegan food and 30% the other stuff.
That's
So
great.
yeah, it's definitely great. So they definitely cater to vegans and people that eat a plant-based lifestyle. Uh, so it's a really good restaurant. They have really good food, and since we discovered that, we've been eating there a couple times here and there. I won't say how much.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're kind of fortunate because I'm in the GTA, right? And there's a lot of vegan
Right.
restaurants, um, and for the most part, people know what veganism is, so they're pretty willing to just swap out a few things and make something vegan if it's kind of almost there. But it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of depends on where you are and where you live and how hard or easy that is.
Definitely in rural areas it's trickier. Even in Halifax, it's I find it's hit or miss. There's some people think veganism, when they're running a restaurant, is something, but it's not quite there. Like there's honey in it, or stuff like that. These things that they miss, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So is there anything that you'd like to share or promote?
Uh, my YouTube page. I haven't really been doing anything with it since COVID because I've been at home all the time with the kids, but that'll be up and running as soon as I go back to work. I'll have the extra time. YouTube page and Instagram and Twitter. You can see me at Vegiverse.
Awesome.
So that's where I hang out most of the time.
On Twitter.
Yeah, on Twitter.
All right. So I'll also include like the links to that below in the description, so it's easy for people to connect with you. So
Perfect.
thanks so much for joining me today and speaking with me and telling me a little bit about you and your journey.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me, Morgan.
Thanks again to Wayne for joining us, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe And if you're interested in sharing your story about why you went vegan and just telling us a little bit about you, reach out on my socials. Also, check out Wayne's YouTube channel, follow him on Twitter and Instagram. All that's in the description below. Thanks again for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.